The Iannottis. A lot of you guys know me. A lot of you guys, I went through the list of people that signed up, and there's a lot of new people in there. Well, we were coined the Iannottis by our mentor many years ago, and that name has stuck with us through the years, and we use it today as well. But what we've done is we've created systems over the years, and we've put them together into a complete system now that we call CATS, the Complete Agreeable Term System. And what I'm going to teach you tonight is something that's going to basically turn your investing training upside down. So let's get started here, and hopefully move forward. Okay, how come we're not moving forward? There we go. Okay, again, it's going to turn your investing career upside down. Bear with me if we do have some technical difficulties tonight, but this is going to be worth sticking around for. This is great stuff. There's my lovely wife Stephanie and myself. We've been coined the cruise control couple because we put everything on cruise control so that we don't actually have to do everything ourselves. We have other people doing things for us, which enables us to do deals across the country and stay in our home in Southwest Florida. So who are Jon and Stephanie? Well, let's start with Steph first. Steph, she was 24 years. She was an orthopedic technician and a personal assistant to a nationally renowned orthopedic surgeon in Pittsburgh. She loved her job. She thought she'd never leave her job. She, in fact, the last week she worked, she actually spent the whole week test driving high-end convertibles that her boss was eventually going to buy. So she had a pretty nice job. It was pretty sweet. Myself, I started out as a policeman many years ago. I mean, I wanted to be a policeman back when I think the only police show on TV was Car 54. And if you remember that, you're pretty old. You're like me. But I worked my way up to police chief. I quickly realized that I'd rather put politicians in jail than work for them. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't happy. And back then, of course, we weren't making a whole heck of a lot of money either, and I had a young family and I needed more income. So I did the next best thing, which was I went into the steel mill in my hometown of Butler, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. I worked in that steel mill for 24 years. I loved the people I worked with. However, I did not like the job. I spent 24 years on a job I did not like. Then we found real estate. So for the past 12 years, we've been doing real estate full-time. We both left our jobs back in 2003. We're two-time #1 best-selling authors on Amazon. The New Masters of Real Estate was our first book. That book we're real proud of because there's 17 other authors in that book, and 12 of them we've personally mentored or coached. So we're real proud of that book. Then the Business Leader Success, Volume 1 just came out last month, guys, and we shot up to #1 right away. We beat out guys like Stephen Covey, another guy named Tony Robbins. You may have heard him once or twice, but a couple other big names too. But the book did very well as soon as it came out. We're national and international speakers, mentors, coaches. We've done well over 1,900 deals personally without any of our own money and credit. And we continue to do lots and lots of those. Here's our 2 books that we wrote. The first one on the left is our first book, The New Masters of Real Estate, and then the new one that just came out last month, Business Leader Success. So you may want to take a look at those 2 on Amazon. A little history of what you're about to learn tonight, guys. A few years ago, when the crash came, fall of 2008, I call that the short sale era. And back then, we did hundreds of short sales. The only thing that was really working back then were short sales. We had a system in place where we had at any given time we were working about 150 short sales, and man, I'll tell you, that was painful, because if you know anything about short sales, there's nothing about them is short. They're very long, lengthy, involved, but we had a system in place where people were doing that for us, and we were just closing the deals and making money. We started doing short sales back before people even knew you could put those two words together, and it meant something. Then came the ACT era, and I call that the ACT era. That's the agreeable contract terms era, the summer of 2009. And that's when we could still get sellers to give us some terms. They would give us discounts. So I call that the yes side of the business. Then in August 2011, we started teaching ACT from the stage. Started out with about 250 people, and since then thousands of people have been taught the ACT technique. Again, that's agreeable contract terms. It's still being taught today. It still works today, and it's a great technique to use. Then February last year, 2014, the REACT era started. REACT is reverse engineered agreeable contract terms. Basically, guys, what I've done is I've taken the ugly house and the pretty house business and I've done away with it, because to me it's either a yes or a no, because our property data sheet is designed, it has scripting on there to ask questions, and if you get yes answers, it's an ACT deal. If you get no answers, it's a REACT deal, and you know which direction to go with what your offer that you're going to make your seller. We've been teaching this now since February 2014, and REACT is probably the hottest technique out there today. Then in September last year, we decided to teach CATS, which is the Complete Agreeable Terms System. And what we did was we combined the yes and the no business, the ACT and REACT business, and basically we eliminate our competition now, because we can handle any lead that comes across our desk. We can make an offer that would be agreeable to the seller and get an agreement to buy that property. Now, the three hardest ways to make money today as an investor, in my book, it's wholesaling, rehabbing, and landlording. You know, are you having trouble getting that 65-cent discount, you know, from your sellers? I think most of you would say probably yes. Can you afford to tie up thousands of dollars to deal with contractors holding costs, and hopefully you can sell the property with rehabbing? And do you want to babysit tenants? You know, deal with their plugged toilets, trash, damage they do to your properties. It's the three hardest ways to make money today. Also, you know, if you're holding on to it, you need to worry about vacancies. So we came up with a better way, and that's CATS. And like I said, it's a bold new concept that will totally eliminate your competition. Guys, there aren't a whole bunch of people around the country that know what we're doing. And being on this webinar, you're one of the few that know. So pay attention. So what you're going to learn is, you know, most people that teach real estate investing are going to tell you there's 5 steps to being a successful real estate investor. We teach 6 steps. It's just one added step that we like to throw in there that most other educators do not do that. But we're also going to teach you how to make money with no credit, money contractors. Remember, I said I've done well over 1,900 deals, closed those deals, made money with those deals without using our money or credit. How to do as many of these a month as you want. I mean, when I wanted out of that steel mill, I basically went head first into the business, and I created a monster, and that's how we were able to do as many deals as we have done, because we wanted out of work. We didn't want to do what we were doing anymore, and we were successful at doing it. We're going to teach you how to make a minimum $5,000 per deal. Now, guys, in my eyes today, $5,000 isn't very much money. You set your minimum on your deals. Your market may dictate that $5,000 is the minimum. I'm in Southwest Florida. $5,000 doesn't go very far in Southwest Florida. When the properties down here are anywhere from $250,000 up into the multi-million-dollar properties. So you set your goal as to what you want that minimum to be per deal. Do you need a license to do this? No, you don't. We're going to teach you that as well. And how to get the benefits of ownership without owning. See, one of the things I subscribe to myself and Steph too is that in today's market, in today's world, we don't want to own any more property than what we already have, but we want to control all the property. And if I can control the property and get the benefits of ownership, I don't have to own it. And if for some reason down the road I want to own it, I do. I actually purchase it, and so will you. We're going to show you how to put it all on cruise control as well. And cruise control is basically, so you're not doing everything, and you're just overseeing what's being done and get the job done so that you can cash your checks. So guys, if you're not looking for an additional, minimum $5,000 to $15,000 or more per month, and that doesn't excite you, then you're not in the right place, because we're going to show you how to get over $6,000 in value for pennies on the dollar at the end of the presentation, and we'll make you an offer that you won't be able to resist. I mean, we're not in this to get rich off the programs. We're in this basically now to help people, because Steph and I have made it. Now we're giving back, and we've kept prices on anything we do down to the bare bones, simply because we know what it was when we started, and we don't want to see people go through that either. Let's start with REACT. Again, that definition is reverse engineered agreeable contract terms. This is the no side of the business. These deals can be ugly. They can be pretty. So that's why I've done away with the ugly and pretty terms. It's the no side of the business. You remember the scripting on our property data sheet. If the answers are no, it is a REACT deal. We reverse engineer the deal according to price or terms that the funder can do. Now, what's a funder? I'm going to get into that a little bit later here. We match that funder up with our agreements that we have with our sellers. Two things we got to do, guys. We got to keep it affordable to our funder, and that's by keeping that monthly payment near market rent. If we can keep our PITI near market rent, we have a deal. We also have to make it attractive to the seller. And how do we make it attractive to the seller? Well, it has to be what they're looking for or more than what they're looking for. And we have to structure the deal in such a way that they get what they want. And if they get what they want and it's attractive to them, then we have a deal. We present that funding price and terms to our seller, get him to say yes, and cash our check. Simple as that. With ACT is the agreeable contract terms or the yes business. Again, these can be ugly or pretty. It doesn't matter anymore if they're ugly or pretty houses. It's either yes or no to the scripting. The deal is structured according to price or terms that the seller gives us. So if the seller is giving us a discounted price or creative terms on the front end of the deal, when we're first talking to him and negotiating with him, that's where we get the terms, the price and terms that we're going to pass on to the funder. We match the funder up with the agreements that we have. Again, we got to have agreements with sellers to buy. Keep it affordable to that funder, and we do that with market rents, correct? We make it attractive to the seller, and we do that by giving them what they want or more. We find a funder who can do the price or terms that we have with our seller. Cash or check. Simple as that. 6 steps to becoming a successful investor. Remember I said there's 6, and most educators are going to tell you there's only 5. Well, the first step is locate sellers. You always have to have those leads. The second step is the one that we're going to teach you that nobody else, I believe, out there stresses, and that is we want you to become legal and compliant with your local and state laws. You have to be legal and compliant, guys. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in trouble and you're going to be out of business. So we always want to run everything that we do through an attorney to make sure we're doing everything the way we're supposed to be doing it, because remember, real estate is a very legal business. There's a reason why the real estate agents have those great big thick contracts and book-sized disclosures and all that stuff. It's because they got to stay legal and compliant. Well, we're no different. We still have to stay legal and compliant too. We just may not have to abide by all the rules and regulations they do because they're licensed, but we still have to stay licensed or legal and compliant. And our attorney will definitely help us in that endeavor. We have to present offers to the sellers and get agreements to buy. We have to locate funders. We have to apply the CATS system. The system works if you work the system. And then we close quickly. Those are the 6 steps that you need to do in this business to become successful. And I'm going to tell you, with the complete agreeable terms system, you're probably not going to have to buy any other program out there, because it's going to work in a down market, an up market, a sideways market. We've been doing this whole system now for probably close to 15 years ourselves, Steph and I. And we're now coming out and teaching other people how to do it. Locating sellers. Our number one source of locating sellers since about 2007, I believe, is calling for sale by owner ads and for rent by owner ads. Now, we're probably the single source of this education that most of the educators are teaching today. This is where it came from. You know, back then we were spending probably in the neighborhood of $25,000 a month on marketing. We were doing radio, television, billboards. Heck, we even had a stock car all done up. I mean, we were doing it all, but we were making big money, and we were the $25,000 a month was nothing. So when things started slowing down and the market started changing, the economy started changing, we decided, hey, we got to cut back. And what do we do? Well, one of the things I did was I looked at the direct mail that we were doing. And, with direct mail, if you get like a 0.5% or 1% response rate, you're doing pretty good. And, I thought to myself, 1%, that stinks. And there's got to be a better way. So, one day I was looking driving down the road and I see, for sale by owner sign, and then another one, and another one. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't we call for sale by owners? They have their hand up. They're saying, my house is for sale. So that's what we did. We started calling the for sale by owners and the for rent by owners. Now, the for rent by owners, we started calling them because a lot of people turned to renting their house because they couldn't sell it. So what we did was we were able to find sellers that were renting the property, but they really didn't want to be landlords. So for sale by owners, for rent by owners, that is the two best sources right now for finding sellers. We also use the MLS system. Now the MLS, we don't like to buy from it because it starts a feeding frenzy, and everybody bids up the properties. But we do like to go after expired listings, withdrawn listings, and canceled listings. So we do direct mail to those. We also like to run ads in publications, newspapers, whatever kind of print ads are out there that are not expensive. So your lesser known papers, the free papers like a Shopper, Green Sheet, those types of papers, we run ads in those. Vehicle signs, yard signs, they're great. When I left the steel mill, I bought a Chevy Avalanche, took it straight to the sign shop, and got it lettered up, with the We Buy Houses, our phone number, the website, and I averaged 25 houses a year just off the truck. Bandit signs were great. Code enforcement left us alone. A few years later, they started hammering us. So instead of using bandit signs, we started using magnetic signs, and we'd pass them out to anybody that would put them on their vehicles. So now we have signs riding around town that code enforcement can't do anything about. And we pay those people some money anytime we do a deal that somebody saw the sign on their vehicle. Posters, flyers, business cards, anything you can put out there to market yourself. One of the things that drives me nuts with investors is they'll walk around all day with a shirt on that says Home Depot, Harley Davidson, Ford, but they won't advertise their own business that they buy houses. Those other companies don't really need any more advertising. You need the advertising. So use those tools. They're inexpensive. They don't cost a lot to do, but you got to do them. You definitely need a website and online advertising. If you're not on the internet, you're not doing business today. Over 90% of the real estate transactions start on the internet. You have to have that website and online advertising. It's credibility, number one. Number two, that's what people are looking for. Direct mail, we still do the yellow letter, guys. It works. Now, there was a period of about 3-4 years after the crash that they didn't work as well because it was so oversaturated. But today, we've started implementing the yellow letter again. And between the for sale by owners, for rent by owners, and direct mail, we got more than enough leads to handle. This is our property data sheet. And like I said, in the middle there, you can see that it is scripted. There's yes and no responses. If they say yes, you read that question. If they say no, you read that question, and you mark those off. Now, preferably your VA from Elsa's group is going to be filling this out for you. But if you're doing it to start out, you've got to fill this in so you know what the responses were. Again, if we get yeses, it's an act deal. If we get no's, it's a react deal. Okay, presenting the offer and getting that agreement. What we do today is we give the seller whatever he wants. So if he wants $200,000 for his $200,000 house, we give it to him. If he wants $400,000 for his $200,000 house, we give it to him. I probably lost a few there. I'm going to go into that example a little later. I'm going to show you how I gave a seller $400,000 for his $200,000 house, and I still made money on the deal. We present the agreement to the seller, and we get it signed. One thing you got to remember is just because it's in the contract, it's not written in stone. Everything can be renegotiated. So keep that in mind. We use a lot of CYA language in our agreements, and that's, cover your assets. I also like to call them protection clauses. We want to close every deal that we get signed because there's a potential profit in every agreement that we take, even those ones where they want full retail price or more. Are you seeing that in your business? You're talking to a seller today, and pretty much all they want is cash, full retail price or more. Well, that's the way it is today. And we have to adjust and work within the market. So again, there's potential profit in every lead and deal that we sign. But the real wealth is staying in the deal. So our goal is to stay in as many of these deals as possible. If the numbers don't make sense, though, for you to stay in, but yet you can still close the deal between your seller and your funder, do it. You're still going to make money because you're stepping out of the way. However, you want to try and stay in as many of these as possible. And then you just repeat the system over and over and over. Locate funders. All right, here's the definition, guys, of a funder. A funder is anybody who brings money to the table to do our deal. That could be hard money, private money, IRA money, a buyer with money, a buyer with a loan, a tenant buyer. All these sources fund our deals. So remember, I'm not talking buyers or tenant buyers to my sellers. I'm talking about funders. If I can get this deal funded, we're going to close. So we determine what that funder will pay or the terms they will do to get into a property. We run buyer qualification checks. Once we have a funder who is agreeable to price and terms with our seller, then we run a credit check, a background check, Megan's Law, employment, landlord, debt to income. I mean, we have a service that does all this, and they present us a report, and they can let us know if these people are financeable today, or maybe in X number of months, if they do certain things, and we work with them. We close quickly. We get all the seller and funder info along with the negotiated deal terms to our attorney. Okay. The attorney will create whatever documents are necessary to get the deal closed. So we're not creating those documents. I hope you understand. Two people can go into a contract. You and a seller. That you can do all day long. Once you bring in a third party, that's the funder, and you're doing the paperwork, you are now practicing law without a license. That's not good. So we let the professionals do what they do best, and that is we bring in the attorney to do the lease options, if it's going to be a lease option, and preferably his title company or closing company to do the conventional sales if we're doing a conventional sale. And there's going to be a closing and transfer of title. Well, all this costs us nothing. You know, everybody thinks, oh my, geez, we're going to bring in an attorney. It's going to cost money to get all these agreements. We don't pay anything. The cost of the closing is split between the seller and our funder. Now, if our funder is us and we're staying in the deal, then yes, we're paying half the costs. But if we're not staying in, we don't pay anything. The funder pays that half, and the seller pays the other half. We cash our check, and again, we keep doing it over and over. Going on cruise control. Virtual assistants. Can you believe it? When I first met Elsa, it was probably back around 2007, 2008. She became one of our personal virtual assistants and has been with us ever since. I've lost track how many virtual assistants that we have working for us. That'd be a Stephanie question. We have many of them. They do everything for us that we don't actually need a person on the ground to do. You've got to have a phone system, guys. There's lots of phone systems out there. You can Google phone systems, and there's tons of them out there. But number one, it makes you look professional. Number two, it gives you extensions so that you can give each property an extension so that you can record descriptions of the property. You can track your marketing by seeing what people are calling into, what extensions. You need a phone system, and they're very inexpensive. You got to have a contact management system. something to put all the leads into, all your documents, your pictures, your videos, all that stuff, so that you can have it all in one place, have it hopefully web-based, so you can access it from wherever you are, as long as there's internet. But you got to have that today. Now, once you get big enough and you're doing a bunch of these deals, you're going to want to have an acquisitionist. And an acquisitionist is the person who takes that property data sheet, calls the seller, makes the offer, gets the agreement signed, and then works with your buyers list, your funders, to get everything sold. And once the acquisitionist gets gets a funder interested in it, then you're going to want to have a closing coordinator. And that closing coordinator then works with the seller, the funder, and then the attorney or title company. They make sure things push through quickly and get the closing as quickly as possible, because that's where your checks are. Testimonials. Here's one from Kristen. She says, "Wow, where have the Iannottis been all my life? I've invested in other educational real estate programs over the years. None have been so simple. I can't wait to get back to our old leads and make some deals that will work in today's market. Thank you." Matt, I feel the info with the presentation makes this event the best one-day event I've ever attended. The one-day stands out as better than some multi-day events I've attended. The resources provided are also top-notch. Their hands-on experience translates to what looks to be very workable in today's real estate world. Let's do an example. Here's an ACT deal. The seller got married, moved into the husband's home. You know, it's girl meets boy. They both fall in love. They both have a house. You probably run across this once or twice. So the seller just wants out of the debt and the payments. So she said yes. And that tells us it's an ACT deal, agreeable contract terms. So we took a 6-month option to purchase. Terms were the lease payment would be equal to the mortgage payment, and the option purchase price is the balance owed when the option is exercised to purchase. So basically, I was going to take it subject to without taking the deed. The length of the lease option is the remaining 20 years on the loan in 12-month increments. So every 12 months, the lease renews. Here's our solution. We determined that the market rent for the property is $875 a month. The underlying loan was $540 a month, PITI. The loan payoff was $54,000. The market value is $80,000. We quickly determined that this is one we want to keep. We go to work to find a funder for our deal. We actually located a lease option candidate who has $6,000 down and can pay the $875 per month. So we did the credit screening, and it tells us that they should be able to purchase within 18 months. So what we do is a sandwich lease option. We close the lease option with the seller and our entity, and immediately sandwich lease option it with the tenant buyer and our entity. So we're staying in this one. Now here's our profit on this deal. We get $335 a month for 18 months. That's a little over $6,000. We got $6,000 down for NROC. And NROC is non-refundable option consideration. So what that means is, if they buy, they get credit for that money. If they don't buy, then they lose the money. They forfeit it. So the back end on this deal is pretty nice. It's $26,000, but we got to remember we got $6,000 up front that we have to give them credit for. So if you subtract out $6,000, there's $20,000 profit on the back end. So our total profit for the deal is $32,030, and we had no money in the deal. That's pretty good for no money in the deal, guys. Here's another example. This is a REACT deal. Yellow Creek Road. The seller wanted all cash. He wanted $100,000 for his $100,000 house. We offered him $100,000 on a 6-month option to buy. The seller understood we would not be moving into the property, and we would be pursuing funding for the deal. Depending on the funding and the numbers, the seller may be closing with one of our funders or possibly an end user. So we were very upfront. We disclosed to them what we were trying to do, and they understood. So here's our funding for this one. We located a real estate agent with a pre-qualified buyer who needed a loan to purchase for $114,900 plus the real estate commission. This buyer ended up not getting the loan. We found a second funder who came from our marketing and could not get the loan even though they were pre-approved. And I'm sure you understand, today those pre-approval letters, if you turn them over, on the back is printed Charmin, because basically that's what it is, toilet paper. But, some of them do go through, so we have to go through what the banks are doing today. Our third funder, they came from our marketing as well. They get to within days of closing, and the lender pulled the loan once again. This funder, though, really wanted the property. So our second conventional lender for this funder pre-approves our funder, and it looks good till days before closing, and it falls apart again because of underwriting requirements. They're told that they need 6 months more on their employment to qualify for the loan. So our solution again, we went back to the seller and we reverse engineered the deal. And we asked if they would do a lease option long enough for our funder to get the bank loan. Seller agreed to this with a lease payment equal to their mortgage payment. The funder moved in and immediately did not want to wait to purchase and withdrew the $114,900 from an IRA account to purchase. Against our very strong objections of them doing that, they wanted this house so bad they were willing to cash in the IRA and pay the $114,900. So the seller got their $100,000, and we made a release fee on this one of $14,900. Nice payday. Points to remember. All these potential buying terms were discussed with the seller. The seller gave final approval on everything we tried to do with the financing funding of the deal. The seller knew we probably would not stay in the deal. And the seller got their price, and the home was sold. Remember that deal I told you I'd tell you about? We paid $400,000 for a $200,000 home. Well, why would you do that? Well, number one, I had absolutely no competition because Who in their right mind would pay $400,000 for a $200,000 home, right? Well, I guess I'm the only one out there that would do it. So I took the agreement. The seller wants $400,000 cash. He owns it free and clear. Taxes and insurance on this property are $400 a month. His hot button, though, was that he wanted $400,000 for the home. During my conversation with the seller, he probably said he wanted $400,000 15, 20 times. He never mentioned interest. He kept saying he wants $400,000. So what our funding offer was, market rent for this property is $1,900 a month. So we agreed to pay $1,900 a month rent. Taxes and insurance would be are $400 a month. So out of the $1,900, $400 goes to taxes and insurance. That left $1,500 a month that we could apply to the balance of $400,000 and pay that down $1,500 a month, and it would all be NROC. So if we buy, we get credit. If we don't, we lose that money. So I'm making it attractive for my seller to say yes. The $400,000 will pay down in 22.2 years. Now that's a little bit less than a 30-year loan. So that's good for us or our funder that we put in the property. The seller's benefits, he gets the $400,000 he wanted, and he gets it at $1,500 a month. He also gets to realize $106,400 savings from not having to pay the additional $400 a month over 22.2 years, which is for the taxes and the insurance. So that's not coming out of his pocket, personal pocket anymore. So that's $106,000. He's getting an additional $53,200 savings by not having to pay the utilities anymore. And that is probably 50% of what it really is. There's a chance that our funder will move out. If the funder moves out, all that money was NROC. He gets to keep it. And he still owns the house. And he can do whatever he wants to again. So the benefits to my funding source, he gets the home now. He pays market rent for his payment for the home. There's no credit needed. He owns the home in 22.2 years, not 30 years, like if he had to go get a loan. So benefits for my seller, benefits for my buyer, affordable for my funder, attractive to my seller. And we made the $7,000 that the funder had to put down. That's how you make money on a property that somebody wants way more than what it's worth. Great deal. Testimonials again. Heather says, I love the Iannotti's genuine personalities. It's so refreshing in this age of auto gurus where new investors sell programs that aren't tested. We've already been using most of the techniques successfully, so I know React works. Ray says, this event was very good. Jon and Steph took their time to explain and answer any questions, walk through several leads by calling them to show us all how simple this is to do. He also gave us a lot of resources to help us be successful. I wish we would have taken this training before we spent $35,000 on another course. Thank you, Jon and Steph. I can't tell you how many people have told us very similar testimonials. My best one, though, is Scott. What can I say? Using Jon and Steph's program, I made over $70,000 in December. That's not too bad for 1 month. And I can tell you he's doing pretty close to that almost every month since. So he's taken it, he's grasped it, he's using the system. Again, you've got to do the system for the system to work. Here's our system. It's the complete agreeable terms system. We can either ship you a manual with the CDs and DVDs. The price on this is $997. I can't get any lower, guys. It's just I mean, I know my one of my mentors just raised his price to $4,995 for something very similar. But $997 is bare bones. That's what we can do, and we're going to present that for you guys. Like I said, we could send you the hard copy, or here's our login portal for our online CATS members only website. I like this thing because what it does is it keeps you up to date with what's working, what any changes we make, anything new we put in there. Because one of the things you're going to get with our program, lifetime updates. As long as we're around and we're doing real estate, guys, you're going to be getting the updates. And the website is the best place to put them. We can put it out there, and everybody gets it all at the same time. This is the front page of the website. One of the first things I want you to do is watch the video lessons. There's about 21 lessons in there right now. They're typically anywhere from 3-4 minutes up to about 15 minutes on different steps through the process. And anything that needs clarified, I try to get in there to eliminate questions. There's the manuals in there. There's how to work with the buyer and seller. There's an audio's in there from a one-day event we did. There's live seller calls in there. There's probably about 4 hours worth of live seller calls. There's marketing pieces, a lot of resources, master agreements. Your master agreements guys, what that is it's the agreement you're going to use with every single seller. So you're going to take our suggestions for master agreements to your attorney, get him to approve it, make you compliant. He could possibly use our agreement, or maybe he'll want to change it, or maybe he'll scrap it and create his own. Whatever he does, he's going to do it one time, and now you have your master agreement. And that's the only agreement you're going to draw up between you and your seller with every single seller every single time. The rest of the agreements are all drawn up by the attorney or the title company. So, it's real simple to do. There's a What's New button at the bottom. Actually, I probably should move that up to the top, because the first thing I want everybody to do when they go on the website is to hit the What's New button to see if anything's been added, anything's been updated. So always check that whenever you first log into your website. Here's some of the videos, the short lessons that I was telling you about. What you will learn from ACT, React, CATS, from Zero to Hero, Quick Start. There's just certain things in here that when questions come up from members, I always like to create a video to address it, so that anybody else has that question, they can refer to it. Here's the one-day video that we did, a whole one-day workshop. It's in there. So we also do a 3-day CATS training event, and this is intense, guys. This is not a sell-a-thon. This is 3 days with us and our team. And the next one is June 12th through the 14th. It's in Fort Myers, Florida. We hold these about every 2 to 3 months. We keep them small. We like to have no more than 40 members there. And with our team, we cap out the room around 50 people. So we like to spend 3 full days with you. We also include in the price you get the continental breakfast, you get lunch, and we're not the kind of educators who at lunchtime disappear. Even after the day's over, we go out to dinner. We're with our members. We're not out by ourselves. But it's 3 full days of training with us. We created this stuff. There's a lot of knockoffs out there right now. We are the creators of Act and React. That's a $34.97 value, guys. So come to that with all everything included, all your questions answered, live seller calls. That's a couple thousand. There's potential to produce thousands of dollars during the event. The last one we did a few months ago, guys, we actually got an agreement on a 10-unit building that was completely remodeled, including granite countertops. Basically, they were converting everything to condos. They spent over $400,000 in getting the legal paperwork to do condos. Each unit has its own strap number, so it can be sold off as condos. They have about $1.6 million into the property, and we got an agreement to buy it for $600,000. And that was a for sale by owner. So you never know what we're going to find when we're making those sellers phone calls for you. But it's pretty awesome stuff when we find something like that. So there's potential to JV with us on deals too, guys. And this is priceless. I mean, if you want us to work with you in the beginning, and you want to submit some property data sheets to us to work for you, and what we'll do is we'll call the seller, we'll make that initial phone call and make the deal on the phone, and then you're going to get the paperwork signed. You're going to work to market the property to sell it. We're going to market it as well, and hopefully between the two of us we can sell it, and then we'll just split the profits on the deal. You don't have to do these with us, but if you feel you have to, we're there. It's over $6,000 package. What we're going to do, guys, I want you to get in tonight. It's 190 pages, the manual. Now, there's not a lot of fluff in there. In fact, there's no fluff. It's all content. I don't believe in the fluff. Steph and I watched that through the years with all the different educators, and we said, no, we're not going to do that if we ever do this. We're going to just give content, content, content. So there's 190 pages plus of full color manual. There's over 23 audios and DVDs. You get the resource documents. You get full lifetime updates to the resources. Free online member only website, which I will tell you we're looking at in the very near future charging for that. However, anybody that gets into our program now is going to be grandfathered, so you don't have to pay for that monthly fee. And you get the full 3 days, and the one full day of creative deal structuring. We spend one whole day on that. So that's about $2,000 that we charge if you go to our website. And if you buy tonight, we're going to cut that down to you get the manual, you get the course, you get the 3-day event for $13.95. That's a heck of a deal. You're not going to find it out there any cheaper. You're getting 3 full days basically for $400. That's not bad. Steph and I have spent over the years over $400,000 going to training events around the country, and we've been to many, many, many of them. And we've taken all that education, we've crammed it down into what we've created here, and we call CATS. So we'd love to have you. Please order now. Here's the link to go to order if you're interested in getting it now. If you want to call in, there's our 800 number. Call in. If the VAs are busy, please leave a message with your contact information so that we can call you back and get your order. We are filling up for the June event. Again, that's June 12th through the 14th. We do have a few spots open, and but it is filling up quick. One other thing I can offer you guys tonight, because this is Elsa's webinar, and I like to do stuff for whoever puts the webinars on. That is, once a month I do a "What Would Jon Do" phone call, and I only do it for the members. So if you buy into the course, you are a member of our system. You get, if you buy in tonight, the next phone call, the next month, you're going to get that call for free. That is a paid call. So it's $49.95 a month to come on to those calls. And believe me, you've got several people coming on the calls asking questions. We do some deal structuring, how to handle situations, that kind of stuff. And it's great help, especially starting out. And I'll give you that for the next month also if you buy into the program. So there's another bonus for you as well. So please go to the link there, the buyreactnow.com/Elsa, and order or call us on the 800 number. That's 800-876-7937, and extension 196. And again, if the VAs are helping other people, please leave a message with your return call information so we can get back to you and get you your order done. If you order the online version, of course, we can get you that right away. If you want to order the hard copy, then we'll have to ship that out to you. So it's been great talking with you guys tonight. I hope you learned something tonight. You can take any lead that comes in and potentially make money with it. You don't have to look for that needle in the haystack, whether it's 65 cents on the dollar or creative terms right up front, or where am I going to get the money to buy this property and rehab it, and now I got to work with contractors and all that stuff. You don't need to go down that road. There's a simple way to do it, and believe me, you can make a lot of money doing it. So great talking to you, and